Justin Trudeau is having a rough couple of weeks. Recently, he came out and did a press conference after his telephone call with President Trump. And we're going to get into that video. Also, we're going to highlight some of the things that President Trump points out about why Justin Trudeau is grandstanding like he is for the Canadian people. Because let's face it, Canada and America's trade deficit is not even close. What we rely on, our imports from Canada only account for 1.3% of our GDP. Our exports to Canada, or should I say Canada's imports to America, count for between 19 and 20% of their GDP. So almost a quarter of their national GDP relies and depends on trade as far as getting their products into America. Us, 1.3%. We don't need anything from Canada. We don't need their gas. We don't need their automobiles. And what it'll do, if Canada tries to pass that price hike, that tariff increase onto consumers, it opens the door for American business to be more competitive in whiskey and whether it be in other products that move really well here in the United States. So the media has the average person freaking out about it like, oh, why are we doing this to Canada? No, the question is, why is Canada doing that to us? Why do they not allow us to import our agricultural products and many other products, but yet we allow them to import their stuff here? President Trump said it best, whoever did these trade deals sucked at negotiation. So in this video, we're going to get into the clip of Trudeau breaking down, tearing up in front while speaking to his Canadians. We also going to show something that President Trump highlighted, which is causing Justin Trudeau to grandstand like he is. Could it be true? So we're going to get into that. I'm going to move quickly through this video. So let's jump right into watching the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, break down while he's talking to the Canadian people. Check this clip out.
On a personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs. And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future. Because in the past few weeks, we've been working with our provincial and territorial partners to make sure that families can rely on this system, not just for years to come, but will allow this system to lock in, to become something that no government, a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, could ever go back on. And it's hard to do, because there is nothing one government can't do that can't be undone by the following government, unless Canadians are very clear on the need to keep this going.
Yeah, so Justin Trudeau is stepping up and saying he's fighting for the Canadian people and he's doing this and doing that. But what he's really doing, he's working to crash their economy, because not only do they rely on importing their products to America for 20%, roughly 20% of their GDP, we also subsidize Canada to the tune of $250 billion a year. So when we hear President Trump saying that, hey, listen, Canada should become the 51st state, it's because we take care of them like we do and provide funding for them like we do one of our 50 states, except for we don't get a chance to reap the benefits on the other end by exporting our goods into Canada and being able to move our products and share our products with the Canadian people. So what President Trump is doing, he's leveling that playing field. And as a matter of fact, we all know that Donald Trump is one of the best deal makers in the world. And so for Justin Trudeau, who's a career, lifelong politician, has never built a business of any kind, has never played hardball with a man of Donald Trump's caliber, he's out of his league. You see how they get pushed around when he's dealing with dictators, ruthless dictators like a Putin, like North Korea's Kim Jong-un, like any of these other ones. But he does really well when he's dealing with, Joe Biden and some of the other softies out there, Stamer coming out of the UK. But right now, Trump has America first. And what Justin Trudeau is doing, he's using propaganda to try to make the American people feel that what President Trump is doing by putting our needs first above the Canadian people, Justin Trudeau's responsibility is the Canadian people. Our American president, he puts his focus on making us the priority, and rightfully so. So let's get into this next clip where we're going to hear from President Trump himself about how he feels about Justin Trudeau grandstanding. And did you see Trudeau tearing up? Now, I want you to think about this. What type of confidence does that instill to his people to see your leader, the person that's supposed to be, helping take your country to the next level, is tearing up after a phone conversation that he had with the president? And from reports, the phone conversation wasn't pleasant the entire time. Matter of fact, some expletives were used not by Justin Trudeau either. I think you know who they came from. Check this out.
Yeah, so this has been a very quick moving story today, Sandy. So first on that pause, we know that the United States has decided they will not be imposing or applying those 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods going into the United States. They say that exemption will apply to any goods that were covered under the USMCA, that trade agreement that was signed by Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Of course, that covers about 95% of goods that go into the United States, Canadian goods, that is. We also heard from Dominic LeBlanc today, who said that he is going to have a pause of his own for Canada. That is on our second round of tariffs that we were looking to impose. That's worth about $125 billion worth of American goods. And that was going to come in 3 weeks. Well, it looks like that might only come in within about a month. All of this, Sandy, went down as Donald Trump had signed this executive order in the Oval Office and again had some choice words for dealing with Canada.
We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada.
If you're enjoying this video and you like the content, do me a solid. Hit that like button. I'll never ask you for a cash app. I'll never ask you for a super chat. But you hitting that like button, that's currency because it helps spread the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On this channel, on Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all. That way, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So as you heard there, President Trump is pretty firm. And just to break down exactly what's happening, there's been a pause. The whole thing about the tariff, it is not to punish the Canadian people. And, you know, it is about money somewhat because the United States has been getting screwed on a trade deal. But what it really boils down to is the fact that at the northern border, Justin Trudeau has allowed fentanyl to cross into America, killing roughly 300,000 Americans, closer to 400,000 Americans, I believe, as of right now. And so this whole deal was about more troops because Canada, they put up $1.5 trillion towards border security. They committed that to border security to keep illegal immigrants from crossing over to America and to stop the flow of fentanyl across the border into America. So that's all President Trump was asking for. But during their phone conversation, Justin Trudeau wanted to, tout what he's doing and say, hey, we're doing pretty good. It's almost completely cleared up. And President Trump told him that's not good enough. So the fact that Justin Trudeau did not keep up to his end of the bargain, because if you remember, a month ago, these tariffs were going to take place. And President Trump gave Canada and Mexico an opportunity in good faith to show that the southern border and the northern border will be locked down. Mexico seems to have kept up with their end of the bargain. They sent troops to the border and the flow of fentanyl has pretty much stopped. As a matter of fact, we've got the lowest border crossings at the southern border in recorded history. Now, on the Canadian side, at the northern border, has it dropped tremendously, but not good enough, especially for the type of benefits that we provide to Canada, $250 billion subsidies, allowing their trade, their products to be imported into America, which is helping 20%, roughly a quarter of their country's GDP be able to survive. And we provide them with military power. So I believe that for our American president putting America first, making sure that they hold up to their end of the bargain, protect our borders on their end, everything will be fine. And even with these tariffs, they have a deal. There was a deal that was signed, and there are certain products that are covered within that deal that they say, okay, these are off base. We won't add tariffs to these. And that deal covers roughly, as you heard, 95% of the imported goods from Canada to America. But that 5% that was left out, that's wide open, is substantial enough to significantly hurt the Canadian budget if we had to implement those things. So to avoid that, President Trump has extended it again until April the 2nd. Now, as of April the 2nd, if Justin Trudeau isn't acting right and he hasn't kept up to his end of the bargain and hasn't started putting those boots on the ground, those drug sniffing dogs, that technology to be able to monitor and scan with infrared for fentanyl, the tariffs will go into place, and the tariffs are 25%. But President Trump thinks it's even deeper than that. Check out this post that he put on Truth Social. And as you can see, somebody has Justin Trudeau's ego on X. And it says, President Trump has called me out, claiming I'm intentionally escalating the trade war to stay in power. And he's spot on. Instead of negotiating to find a solution, I'm encouraging Canadians to boo Americans so I can enact the Emergencies Act and cancel elections. Let's see what President Trump has to say if he agrees with Justin Trudeau's ego, who made that post. President Donald J. Trump, the real Donald Trump. Justin Trudeau of Canada called me to ask what could be done about tariffs. I told him that many people have died from fentanyl that came through the borders of Canada and Mexico, and nothing has convinced me that it has stopped. He said that it's gotten better, but I said that's not good enough. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner. He was unable to tell me when the Canadian election is taking place, which made me curious, like, what's going on here? I then realized he is trying to use this issue to stay in power. Good luck, Justin. And that kind of makes you think there, isn't it? Why is Justin Trudeau, knowing that roughly 25% of his GDP is dependent on Canada being able to import goods into America, and a 25% tariff will potentially cause them to lose profit and GDP tremendously, and would also make it to where American businesses will be far more competitive in that space of whatever those products or services that we decide to put those tariffs on, that 5% that's not involved in the trade deal that the president signed between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. But what he can do is, due to the fact of these tariff wars, like you just heard from the president, he can enact emergencies saying, hey, there's a tariff war going on, the country's unstable, and right now is not a good time to bring in new leadership. So is Justin Trudeau setting the stage for him to be able to stay prime minister by default? Do me a solid, add it in the comments if you believe yes, Justin Trudeau is grandstanding just to be able to maintain power, or no, he's actually having the Canadian people booty Americans and grandstanding about a trade deal and a tariff war that he can't win. If you don't think he's doing that to stay in office, put no. But if you think he's using it as leverage to be able to maintain power, put yes. But again, if you think that he's not, and he's just really, really believing that their 19% compared to our 1.3% GDP impact is a smart move, and he's just doing this from the bottom of his heart because he just believes that much, put no. I personally believe he is grandstanding because it makes no economic sense what he's doing, especially when they rely on America so heavily. And all that's being asked, the only thing that's being asked is that he shuts down his borders and he stops the flow of the drugs coming across the border. That's it. That's it. And so now Canadians are booing when the American anthem is playing. And he even said, oh, how is Florida going to feel when Canadians stop coming? Did you see what Ron DeSantis had to say about that? Check this out.
Continue to set tourism records. 2024 saw more than 142 million visitors come to the state of Florida. This includes 3.3 million visitors from Canada. That's not much of a boycott in my book. Maybe they wanted to get a glimpse of what a Stanley Cup winning hockey team actually looks like.
So there you have it. As you heard, Governor DeSantis with an excellent comeback. This boycott that you're planning on doing, Justin Trudeau, you might want to let the Canadians know that one of their favorite vacation spots, going out to Miami, Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach, Key West, all of those things, are they really willing to give that up so you can grandstand and stay in power? I don't think so. But hey, time will tell. All I know is they got till April the 2nd and the hammer's going to drop. So we'll see what happens. And like I say, Mexico seems to be playing ball. Everything's going great with them. So we'll see how this plays out. But hey, I appreciate you for watching. If you hung in there with me to this point, thank you so much. As always, like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm Brian Maxwell. Again, sincerely, I appreciate you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out.